Hey, hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session of live counter review using technical analysis. For today, the flow will be same as per usual. First up, I'll go through the US economic calendar. Then afterwards, I'll talk about some of the indices and commodities. Then afterwards, I'll go through some of the big sectors like the Mag 7, US banks, US semicons, as well as EVs. Last but not least, I'll also go through the any questions that you all have in the Q&A. Yeah, so if you have any counters that you want me to go through, can be anything, can just feel free to drop them in the Q&A. Yeah, so I think I see a question, when is the morning sharing on the US markets uploaded? Yeah, so for the record, this session will be recorded and it will be uploaded onto the PhillipCapital YouTube page. That's by tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, so without further ado, I'll begin. So first up, economic calendar wise tonight there's the some manufacturing PMI numbers. So that's at 10:45 and 11 p.m. later on. Going to tomorrow we have FOMC Bosch speaking 1:30 a.m. Barkin speaking 9 p.m. Bauman speaking 10:40 p.m. Then also the Jones stock openings numbers at 11 p.m. tomorrow night. Going to Wednesday, there's the ADP non-farm employment change numbers at 9:15 p.m., followed by the S&P Global Services PMI that's at 10:45, and ISM non-manufacturing PMI at 11 p.m., followed by usual core inventories at 11:30 p.m. Thursday, there's Fed Governor Cook speaking 7:30 a.m. Challenger job cuts 8:30 p.m. Jobless claims at 9:30 p.m. Okay, then Friday will be the important one. So that will be the non-farm payrolls that's coming out at 9:30 p.m. And then afterwards, there's Michigan inflation and consumer expectations, 11 p.m. So in terms of the economic calendar, the most important one will be non-farm payrolls on Friday 9:30 p.m. to take note of. Yeah. So next one, I'll talk about the indices and commodities. So first up, I'll talk about Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin today, earlier on, it actually hit a support level previously. So it hit the low about 74.5K, so which was a swing low support back then over here in April last year. So it hit about this level, this support level. The next support level downwards, lower than that, I think will be around somewhere like this level, 71.7K around. So that will be the next support. So in terms of Bitcoin now, I think after the recent weakness, I think after hitting this some support over here, you can see three lower wicks. I think we could see some sort of a rebound to maybe retest the 5 SMA level. So that's currently 80,400 about there. So there will be a potential short-term resistance. Yeah, and that was also a swing low over here back in end of November last year. And in terms of the next resistance level, that will be around 84,000. So I think for now, we might see, in terms of the price action, we might see something similar to over back in November last year when there was a sell-off and then there was a bit of a rebound. And then overall, it will be still quite choppy afterwards. Likely some rebound to test the prior breakdown levels that could turn to resistance. Yeah. So in terms of near-term areas, the recent breakdowns will likely be a resistance for Bitcoin. Next one, Dow Jones. Dow Jones, I think, still moving quite well. So overall, it's still holding within this main uptrend channel in blue. Okay. And also just kind of moving sideways, sideways over here, but still holding support at this region that's around 48.5 to about 48.7K. So overall still okay. And also in terms of the longer term moving averages is still above the 50 SMA level. So that's still okay as well. In terms of short term movement wise, I think could be still quite range bound. So as long as it holds this 48.5K level, we might just still continue to see some sideways movement with resistance maybe at 49.3 to about 49.6K. So yeah, in terms of Bollinger Bands wise, I think also kind of suggests kind of sideways movement right now for Dow Jones. So okay. In terms of weekly charts, yeah, price is still holding 10 SMA level, so that's okay as well. So, yeah, overall still an uptrend and just moving sideways. Next one is I'll talk about Nasdaq. Yeah, so for Nasdaq, I think still rather kind of uh the weakest of the three major indices. So just kind of still moving sideways. Last Wednesday they had a last Tuesday, I mean, had a try to break above this 23.7K level and then hit close to this previous resistance at close to 24,000, and then afterwards we saw a pullback. Yeah, so I think for now it's over as of Friday's close is like around the 10 and 20 SME levels. And in terms of the longer term moving averages, it's Friday, it held support at 50 SME on Thursday and Friday last week. So I think for now, the key will be to see this blue line over here. That will be the 100 SME level. I think that is also that also coincides with this trend line I have over here. So I think that will be a key support that's at around 23,000 level. So I think overall, the price could still hold support over here, this 22.9 to 23.3K area, and resistance likely to still hold like 23.6K onwards to 24K. So should be still quite range bound as long as this 23K support is able to hold. Yeah, in terms of the weekly, still okay. It's not as strong, but still holding at least the 20 SMA level. So that will be quite important. That's around 23K there out there as well. So as long 23K is a very important support for Nasdaq overall. Yeah. Then next one is on S&P 500. Yeah, so for S&P, I think last week did a retest of this short-term trend line support breakdown, face some resistance at the 7,000 level as well. Yeah, and afterwards kind of just pulled back and moving kind of sideways. Price is still holding about 50 SMA, which still remains an important support. Below that is that's around 6,857. Then below that 100 SME around 6,782. So I think for this week wise, we still could see some sort of range bound movement. Yeah, for now, with some resistance still likely closer to 7,000. And then support wise, I think we would likely still hold in terms of the recent swing lows closer to 6,800. That's also around the 50 to 100 SME area as well. In terms of the weekly, yeah, still holding pretty well above the 10 SME. So similar to Dow Jones for S&P 500, then Nasdaq remains the weaker one. Yeah. So that's it for the three major indices. Kind of all three still showing sideways movement for now. Next one, I'll talk about gold. So gold is has been very volatile. Today, I feel that it has reached a support level from today. So yeah, so actually the lower wick just now was around close to 4,400. So this was actually like a retest of this trend line support I have over here. And then also this horizontal resistance level breakout. That's at around close to 4,550. In terms of that, MAs also managed to retest the 50 SMA earlier on. So I think over here, we might see some sort of a bounce for now, given that overall it's still in an uptrend. And then, price has sort of found key supports around 50 to 100 SMAs overall during this whole rally. Yeah, so I think we'll likely see a bit of a bounce for now. In terms of resistance, I think I'll zoom into the about 30 minutes to 1 hour charts. So currently seeing a bit of a rebound. In terms of next key resistance, I think will be slightly closer to 4,940, this level over here. And next one should be around 5,100. Yeah, so I think this area will likely be the next in terms of the short-term resistance. Yeah, going back to daily charts. Yeah, so I think 4,900 plus to 5,100. If price retest, that will also be close to the 5 to 10 SME retest as well. I think this will likely hold as a short-term resistance. So probably some rebound and face resistance at this lower high level, and then kind of price just probably could do kind of a sideways movement, I think, for this week. Okay, then next one, in terms of silver, I think price also hit a support. So this back at this range consolidation area, that's around 82 about there. Today hit about 50 SMA, so that's I think likely first support level hit. In terms of resistance, I think short-term resistance will probably around 93, this horizontal level and the 20 SMA levels. Then higher than that, that will be closer to 103, this horizontal level in 5 to 10 SMEs. So in the short term wise, I think likely we see a bounce when we face some resistance above 93 over here. Then same as gold, maybe moves a bit of sideways after this volatile movements. Okay, then next one, talk about WTI oil. Yeah, so for oil, I think overall still moving steady. Last Thursday and Friday actually hit this resistance about $65 to $66. Today we are seeing a bit of a pullback towards the 10 SME over here. But I think it has hit kind of a support as of from today's pullback. So that's around 61.50. I think previously was this horizontal resistance level. And then I also have this short-term upward support line over here as well. So I think here is a bit of a support that will go. In terms of resistance-wise, short-term, probably around 64 to about 66. So this week wise might do a bit of a range bound for WTI oil. And next one for VIX. Yeah, VIX I think still range bound overall. Recently, in terms of the gap ups, price you can see that resistance has been around 19 to about 21 by this area. In terms of support, tends to gain some support back around 15 to 17 this area. So still pretty much range bound. I think as long as VIX doesn't maintain above 22 about there, then overall market might still be in a bit of a range bound for now. Yeah. Then if it goes above 22, then I think there will be more volatility in the markets. Next one for copper in the metals. For this today, hit the support again, 5.7 over here. Yeah, so hit this support area again, and I think resistance near term wise should be around above six dollars to 620 about that. So could be still a bit of sideways movement for now. Yeah, so that's it for some of the indices and commodities. I'll move on to the sectors. So first out, let's take a look at the big tech names. So first one is I'll talk about the whole Mag 7 sector as a whole. So I'll start off with the Roundhill Mag 7 ETF, MAGS first. So taking a look at this, I think it's still maintaining this range, kind of a range bound movement over here. And last week's price action, we had rebound back towards the resistance around 66.70 over here, then kind of a bit of a pullback. Today, as of now, pre-market is opening a bit lower, 65.52 for now. So I think this week wise will still be a bit of a kind of sideways movement. Price is likely to still, I think, in terms of support wise, still probably is the same around 64.60. Over here, around the 50 to 100 SME areas. And then resistance still above, still around 67. So I think overall still suggests kind of a more of a sideways movement for now in terms of the Mag 7. And in terms of weekly chart, I think still okay, as price is still closing above the 20 SME levels for the past 2 weeks. So still okay for now. Yeah. And I'll move on to the individual names. First one, I'll start with Meta. So Meta, okay, after the results had a gap up and actually closed out this gap over here. So that's around 741 previously. And then facing a bit of resistance over at this level. So currently doing some pullbacks, doing a bit of some slight pullback on Friday. Yeah, so I think in terms of the short-term levels, I think we could see some supports once it retests the 5 SMA level and this area around 690 to 710. I think this will be the short-term supports. So because previously this was a bit of a key support previously, especially 690. If price kind of tests this level, I think that will be an important support right now. Yeah, so I think this will be the support zone 690 to 710 for now. Resistance wise, I think will still likely be the last week's highs around 735 and about there. Yeah, so we could still see some sort of a range bound movement after this gap up. Yeah. Next one, Apple. Yeah, Apple after the earnings, I think kind of nothing much. So in terms of the charts, last week before the earnings, it actually tested 261, this horizontal resistance level again. There was a pullback and basically just sideways movement now for the rest of the week with support roughly around 255 and 262 as resistance, so range bound. Price, I think for this week wise, I think we could still see a bit of a kind of a range bound movement. If price breaks above 262, then I think we can see a further rebound towards 267. 267, this breakdown level over here. So I think this will likely be a key resistance, given that price has tested this level a few times. Yeah. Then as long as this last week's lows can hold around 252, I think should be still possible for price to do a rebound. Then in terms of the weekly chart, I think price did a retest of the 5 SMA last week. And then some of the higher resistance is the 10 and 20 SMAs. That's 263 and 267 for now. Yeah, 267 will be matching this horizontal resistance over here. So that's for Apple. Yeah. And next one is Amazon. Yeah, so for Amazon, I think last week wise, still nothing much, just still range bound, facing some resistance, still at closer to this swing high that's around 247, 248. Then afterwards, they will pull back. Thursday, Friday, finding some supports around 238, this 10 and 20 SMA levels. So I think overall, still could still find some supports around this like 235 to 238 area, this horizontal level. Yeah, and you could just kind of move sideways over there, where there's also around the 10 SME. So I think for Amazon might be a bit sideways now. Then there's also earnings coming out later this week, and we see how the chart moves again afterwards. Yeah, in terms of next one, Netflix, kind of a sideways movement over here. So I think the support over here, 81 to 82, likely to still hold, I feel. Which is like this uptrend, this longer term upward support line over here, and then also in terms of the horizontal levels, January and April last year. So for now, it's still a bit of a sideways movement. We can see that price is still generally finding resistance from this 10 SMA, this red line. That has been holding price down during this downtrend over here. So I think for now, resistance still around 85 about there, then going upwards 88. Also a bit of resistance from the horizontal breakdown and also this downwards resistance line. So for price to rebound, really need to see a breakout of 88 and confirm above that. For now, mostly still sideways. I think still rather sideways at this point. Yeah. Next one for Alphabet, I think the chart is still holding pretty strong. You can see that price overall still trading within this uptrend channel. And in terms of the last week's price action, it held this 327 horizontal level, which was this previous high, and held as support, and afterwards moved higher to do a retest of this 340 resistance. And price basically forming lower wicks for about 3 days at 332. That's around the 10 SMA level. So that's still very strong price action. I think if price can try to break above 340 afterwards, then we could still see higher highs. The uptrend actually continue from this. Yeah. Then this short term SMEs 5, 10, 20 are still holding as support. So that's still very good as well. In terms of weekly chart, price is still holding above the 5 SME. That's also very strong. So Alphabet remains a very strong momentum. Yeah, then we see how it goes after the earnings later this week. Then last but not least, I'll talk about Microsoft. So Microsoft, after the results, gap down over here in terms of then after tested this level at 422. So this was the intraday lows after a gap up back then in May last year. Currently after results, just kind of moving kind of sideways over here. I think resistance for now probably 444 and above. So that's the recent swing low, this level. Yeah. And in the moving averages come down, I think there will be a bit of a resistance as well. In terms of the next supports for Microsoft, I think if the 422 level breach, then there's a gap actually previously over here. So some of the next support levels to look at would be around 407 and 393. So that's more the key levels. Yeah. So Microsoft for now still just holding at this support level for now, then could be a bit sideways. Yeah. But if it breaks below 422, then we could see some further downside continue, given that it's still weak right now. So in terms of Max 7, yeah, in general, still pretty much range bound. I think the best, strongest one is still Alphabet for now, and some of the other ones a bit range or just kind of range or a bit of a weakness. Yeah. So that's it for the big techs. Okay, next one, I'll talk about some of the banking names. So first one I'll talk about is the SPDR financial sector ETF, XLF. So overall for XLF last week, it maintained at this support at 53. So just sideways movement over here. So this week wise, I think if you can break above this 5 and 10 SMA levels, that's around 53.40 about there. And also the Thursday, Friday's highs, that's 53.60. Then perhaps you could see some slight rebound towards 54, 54.30, this near-term resistance area. Yeah, so that's it for the XLF. Below that, next support levels is 52.20 and then around 51 now. Yeah, so it's just kind of moving sideways, holding sideways over here at this prior resistance, I think, for now. Then likely is to still face some resistance from the breakdowns. So overall, pullback from high still showing still a bit weak for now. But at least for now, it's stabilizing kind of sideways, yeah, in the short term. The next one I'll talk about the big four banks. First one starting off with JP Morgan. Yeah, so JP Morgan, I think overall it's still sort of like within this uptrend channel itself, and also maintain this horizontal level around 295. So in terms of short-term movements, I think price could do a bit of a recovery, short-term recovery as last week managed to break over this 300 horizontal level and then holding this 5 and 10 SMAs currently. So I think with that, we could still possibly see some rebound, maybe towards 310, 311, this area that's the next resistance level from the previous swing low support and resistance. Yeah. Bank of America, we can see kind of sideways breakdown of this rising wedge, and price kind of sideways over here. 51.60 is support, resistance at 53.50. So I think for this week wise, I think we could still see some resistance, 53.50 to about 54.30, this area. There's this gap over here. I think also a retest of this trend line. So 54.30 will be likely quite a strong resistance. In terms of support wise, I think will be around like 52.60 over here. So price action wise could be a bit sideways. Yeah. The next one for Wells Fargo, price doing some rebound after retesting this 87 previous range resistance. And last week, Thursday also broke above this 89 resistance level over here. So I think for now, facing some resistance at 90, around close to $91, which was the intraday highs after this gap down. So I think if the key will be see if you can break above 91, then we could see some recovery to close out this gap. 90 with 93 about there as a next resistance. Yeah. And short term wise support, I think still probably around 89 for now. So could be a bit sideways also for Wells Fargo. Then for Citigroup, kind of still pretty much sideways, holding below the 116 level. So this is previous support time to resistance. Then support, I think still moving sideways, 110, about 113 over here. So pretty much still quite sideways over here. I think would still likely to be like this. So in terms of the financials, in terms of the banks, I think still pretty much sideways. As we saw last week, at least still maintaining. And importantly, if the recent support still maintained, then we can possibly see some slight rebound, possibly to test some of the resistance upwards. Okay, I'll move on to the next sector, which is semicons. So first one, semicon, I will take a look at the index as a whole, the Philadelphia Semicon Index stocks. So for this, it's still trending pretty well. Last week we still the index still registered a higher high, so that's good. And in terms of the closing of Friday, slightly below the 10 SMA. So overall, for now, there might be some slight weakness, but I don't think it's a big problem. In terms of the support, horizontal support, there's close to 7,800. I think we'll still likely hold over here. That's the 20 SMA level. Yeah, in terms of weekly wise, it's still very strong, maintaining above the 5 SMA. So overall, I think this uptrend is still pretty much intact. And I'll move on to the individual names. First one, Nvidia. Okay, Nvidia, I think still the old sideways movement with resistance still at 192, 193 about there. And I think for now support likely to be I think we'll still likely hold at 187 if it tests this 10 to 20 SMA level. Yeah, then for now so I think we'll still be kind of sideways, pretty much a sideways movement for now. Yeah. Yeah, then above 193, if you can break above that, some of the resistance I think will be like 198, then 202. Yeah, based on previous levels for Nvidia. Next one, AMD. AMD results coming out this week as well. So last week's price action pretty much sideways at the 5 SMA level. Then there was a weakness end of the week. So I think back to a retested at 238 level. So for now, I think we could see some this week's support I think will be around lower end will be 225, and then probably around 234 this swing high as well. So probably this zone over here. Yeah, then in terms of resistance, I think will be Friday's highs 245 to about 248, this area over here. Yeah, so that's for AMD. Pretty much could be a bit sideways, I think, before the earnings is coming out. Then we see how it moves again. Next one for TSM, I think TSM some slight weakness. I think when price this 330 level is pretty important. So this was a resistance breakout held as support. And last week I think came back down to test this level again. So I think it's quite important that probably 326 to 328 this level here should hold. If it doesn't hold, then we might see some pullback towards like 318 this swing low again. Yeah, so pretty much kind of sideways for now for TSM. Last week tested still holding at the 5 SMA, but if this is to hold, if it doesn't, then we might see some pullback to maybe test the 10 SMA levels and some lower supports. So in terms of weekly, we could be seeing somewhere like this phase where in November, start of November, yeah. If it doesn't hold the 5 SMA, then we might see some further pullback. Okay, next one, ASML. ASML still maintaining very well. So after the earnings, there was a gap up over here, then price kind of just sideways. But overall, still maintaining the 1,400 level as well as the 10 SMA. So I think overall, as long as it doesn't break below 1,004, short-term momentum is still very much pretty strong, and resistance likely still be around close to 1,500. So we might see some sideways kind of movement. Yeah. So that's for ASML. Next one, Marvel. I think overall still pretty much weakness. So price is just moving sideways. Support at 7,950, but has been tested multiple times and couldn't get past this 85.20. So that's still holding its resistance. Yeah, so I think in this week wise, we might see some weakness downwards, I feel. Yeah, given that support has been tested multiple times and yeah, has been holding lower highs. So next key support for Marvel, I think would be somewhere closer to about 74, 75 this swing low again. Next one, Micron. Yeah, for Micron, I think for now, still pretty strong. Okay. But some increasing volume and then price on Friday looks like some short-term profit taking perhaps, but let's see if the 10 SMA continues to hold, because this whole run up since middle of December, price has been holding the 10 SMA, so that's quite important level, and that's around close to 400 for now. And yeah, in terms of horizontal level, we have a horizontal level around here as well. Yeah, so that's an important support for Bitcoin. Should need to hold this level for the short-term bullish momentum to continue. Yeah, so I think we're still okay. Some resistance for now is like 430s onwards. So yeah, we might see some sideways over here. Yeah, for now. Then next one I'll talk about Broadcom and also Intel. Yeah, so for Broadcom, I think still quite weak. Last week was pretty much sideways. A bit of a recovery above this horizontal level 323, but still maintaining resistance around 20 SMA. That's 338. Also, this like this support of the range up previously. I think overall has still been pretty weak, and we might still see some sideways kind of movement for now. Resistance, yeah, 339, 5 SMA weekly, and then above that is like 348. So I think we'll still be kind of sideways. Yeah. Some of the support levels downwards, around is 30, around maybe 307. If it closes out this gap, I think that will be a good support. Yeah, for Broadcom. The next one, Intel. Yeah, Intel so rebounded from this previous resistance, now holding a support like 44 about there. And we're seeing some rebound, and over here for the 9, it's some resistance. Yeah, so I think for now, yeah, it did a rebound from this level already. So for now this week, the important level to hold is like this 46. So there's the 5 SMA and 20 SMA level. So if this can hold, it might still continue to do some sideways between 46 to 49. But if it keeps below 46, then I think we'll come back to look for 42 to 44, this area again. Yeah, so I think overall Intel should be a bit sideways in the near term now. After this movement down after the earnings, and then we see a rebound. So afterwards might be a bit sideways. So that's it, general. That's it for the semicons. Also, index is doing quite well, but some slight weakening at the highs. And I think individual names, I think some strong ones, like Micron, yeah, and yeah, still seeing a bit of a pullback at the highs, but overall still very strong. Yeah, and some others are just pretty much like kind of range bound, or yeah, that's about it. Next one for the EVs, I'll talk about Tesla first. For Tesla, I think some weakness. So price is currently below this my upward support line. Okay, this blue line. Okay, so that's one, and price kind of still maintaining sideways after the earnings. Price retested this 417 support level did a bounce, and currently still facing the resistance from this 438, which is this trend line as well as the 20 SMA horizontal level as well. So this week wise, yeah, in terms of this week's, might be still pretty much sideways if you can hold for 417. But if 417 breaks, I think we will see some lower levels. Yeah, if 417 breaks, then next key level will be somewhere closer to 380, 390, this previous horizontal level over here. So at 470 is quite important because as we have seen in this October to November period last year, this was a very important support. Then once it gave way, right, the price went to this next support level over here. So this is an important level to hold. Also, resistance will be around this 438, and above that will be 450 about there. So could be still pretty much sideways for now. Yeah. Okay, next one I'll talk about Xpeng. Yeah, so Xpeng last week still some weakness after breakdown 16.3 towards like 17.9 over here. So yeah, this is the support area. Yeah, below that is the next support, like 16.4 and then 15.4 next year. So still looking pretty weak for now. Then for new, yeah, also still sideways, but still weakness as price is still holding below the 4.9 breakdown level. So it's still just sideways 4.4 to 4.9 for now. And then next one is Rivian. Yeah, for Rivian, I think yeah, still pretty much weakness. Just some after slight bounce from this 16, then we see price pull back. So back to this support level again, like 14.5. Yeah. Then next one below that will be like 13.5. So still weak momentum right now. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for the counters. Then I'll move on to the questions that you all have. Yeah. First one, hi DY, your questions on Alibaba, Pfizer, and T. Okay. Okay, so first one for Alibaba, I think price in terms of the price action last week, I think some resistance is still holding pretty strong, close to 180, 182, this level. So in terms of the very short term momentum, I think is has turned a bit weak. So price is below this like 5 and 10 SMA levels, that's 172 one around there. And if it breaks below 169 about there, then we might see some pullback towards like 160, 164, 165, this level next, 20 SMA. Yeah, so in the short term wise, we might see some pullback, I feel, for Alibaba, sort of like a double top over here, like 180. Yeah. And then afterwards, kind of weakness on Thursday, Friday. Yeah, that's for Alibaba, I feel. Next one is Pfizer. Pfizer, I feel it's still doing okay. So generally, I think it's a ascending triangle consolidation, still higher lows and key resistance 26. Breakout still valid over here. Yeah, so I think there's still potential for upside if you can hold 26. Next, key resistance I think will be this. This was 27.4. Yeah, so that's and then 28.4 next. Yeah, I think there's also earnings coming out this week, so we see how it goes again. And next one, last one is AT&T. Yeah, for AT&T, I think currently some rebound after the earnings. So let's see. Yeah, quite a sharp rebound. So I think overall, over here might have some resistance given that it was a bit of a resistance area like 20, when it was like 26. So we might see some slight resistance coming. Above that, there's also 2670 over here. So I think after the like a three sharp 3 days of sharp rally, we might see some slight pullback or facing some resistance at this area, 26 to 2670. Then in terms of short-term support, likely short-term 20, like around maybe 25 about there could be the support if the 5 SMA catches up. Okay, next one is our MSI, PSLV. Yeah. Okay, for MSI Motorola, I think it's kind of yeah, it's kind of still maintaining this trend. So I think it's important for it to actually hold 10 SMA. That's around 400 right now. So it's just trading around here. Yeah. So short-term price resistance like this 410 swing high. Above that is likely to be like this 4 418 level. So I think still the rebound still okay as long as it doesn't break below like 398 over here. If not, the next it might come down a bit lower to like 390 or there. Okay, next one for PSLV is this Sprott Physical Silver Trust. Yeah, so let me just try to draw some of the key levels. Yeah, so for this track silver, so to Friday, yeah, hit the 50 SME level. So I think that's one quite strong support. Like during previous pullbacks, over here, price has also kind of gotten some support around close to this 50 SMA. Short term wise, I think we could see some rebound, and resistance wise would be like 2950 to about 31 about the this area. Yeah, so I think short term wise, if you test the 20 SMA and around this horizontal level, close to 30 or 70, that might be the short term resistance. Yeah. Okay, next one is on Surf, Teladoc, and GameStop. Surf Robotics, things for now still some weakness last week. Yeah, last week you can see in terms of price action still trending down along these SMAs. Also break down $12.30, so now it's headed down towards like 11, 980 to $11 this range again. So maybe some support will come in around like this close to 970 about there. There's a yeah, there's a horizontal support level. Yeah, but overall I think it's still quite weak with uh resistance probably around 5 SMA currently. Next one on Teladoc. Yeah, Teladoc still pretty weak. That looks like a new low. So yeah, for this probably after the breakdown of this key support like 660 previously, price has been moving down. So that's still pretty big. And I think could still see lower lows following the trend. Yeah, then short term resistance maybe is around 570, then $6. Next one on GameStop. Okay, I think GameStop, uh, I think there's some potential for this to rebound a bit. So key resistance area is like 324, 2450 area tested like in recent times, tested a few times. Recently increased volume as well over here, some interest and yeah, price holding some of the short-term moving averages. So if we can hold this $24 level, I think there could be a chance for price to rebound further. I think towards like maybe 25.70 and then this previous around this previous swing high levels. So this was back in September last year. So next resistance at 25.70, then 27.30 about there. Yeah, so for now, I think you see it's moving like this sideways at around 24. So we need to see whether if you can hold 24, then I think we can see some further rebound for GameStop. Okay, next question on uh, Salesforce, Moderna, ECM. Yeah, so for Salesforce, still pretty weak. Breakdown of this horizontal support at 225 had a gap down as they tapped onto their previous with support at 209. Just holding about there. So I think this week wise, some resistance might be like 219 to about 225, this area, this whole previous support levels. And then 209 is to hold for it to do some sideways stuff. If it breaks below that, I think we'll still see some weakness down for Salesforce. Yeah. With the next key support, I think it's like uh 202 and then 197. Okay, next one for Moderna. I think some pullback recently after this rally. So in terms of short-term momentums, I think we might is still pulling back. Yeah, some resistance around like 46.50 right now. I think support wise, we might there might be some support closer to about 40s, about closer to 42 is this horizontal level. And then previously, I think this close to 20 SMA. So previously, I think uh this kind of pullbacks in December, January, I think price kind of find support around 20 SMA. So this might be the support level to look at for Moderna. Yeah, short term wise, a bit resistance like 46, 47, then 51 about it. So there's some still pulling back after rally. Essential, yeah, essentially I think some weakness where price this key level 274 was reached. So this was resistance and price held as support for a while. And last Wednesday the breakdown. So back towards this next support level at 260 about there. So holding some bounce from there, but I think likely we will see some weakness at about 270 about there. Yeah, so then if price breaks below last week's lows again, then we might see some lower support levels being tested. So that's like somewhere around 251 this area again. And next one's MSTR Coin WD. Okay, first one MSTR micro strategy. Okay, so I think yeah, just looking at previous levels below what current price is like. I think support is around 123 to 129. Okay, then zooming currently yeah, still weakness like the downtrend. For now, you can see a breakdown of the 155 uh, range support last week. So I think going to this week wise, resistance could still be from this 149 to 155. And if the the 10 and 5 and 10 SME comes down, I think that will pose a bit of resistance as well. And support wise, yeah, support wise, that if 139 doesn't hold over here, then could be looking at 123 next. Yeah. Also, some I think there's earnings coming out this week. Next one is Coinbase. Yeah, for Coin, below current levels, the next support I think will be around 178 over here. Yeah. The next one is like 178 and then 168. Yeah, so in terms of current price action, yeah, definitely still weakness after breakdown 231. Yeah, then short term resistance might come from 1206, 207, this level to about 214 if there's some rebound. So overall, still weakness as well. Next one is WD Walker and Dunlop. Sorry, I think yeah, it's Walker and Dunlop. Yeah, so for this counter, I think the volume is pretty low. So in terms of the team, might not be that accurate, but looking in terms of the chart movement, still I think still of use. Okay, just ignore the upper line. So for now, I think just still range movement 60 to 66, nothing much. Could be earnings coming out also soon. Yeah, so I think nothing much to comment, just still 60 to 66. This area is quite important now. Like um 56 to 60 support. So this has been the support like since 2023. So I think yeah, could be mostly sideways consolidation over here. Yeah, then if price can get about 66, some of the near term reason might be at 71 about it. Okay, hi David, your question on service now. Okay, so for service now, in terms of some of the lower support levels below current price is like 113, then 106. Yeah, and next one 96, 97. So current movement after earnings gap down, uh then kind of just maintain yeah, so actually tap onto like 113. This level, some bit of a lower weight over here. So short term wise, I think maybe we'll find some resistance from like 120 to 125, I feel. Yeah, when the short term MAs come down over here, that might pose a bit of resistance as well. So yeah, so that's in terms of near-term reserve about 120 above. If 113 gives way, then might be looking at 106 as the next support. So still weakness in terms of the charts. Okay, hi Thomas. Your question is, what's the current pattern or trend for Intel, Nvidia, Broadcom, CMG? Okay. So for Intel, first up, I think overall it's still an uptrend over here. Because previously there was a range breakout and moving to an uptrend, high lows. I think for now, after the strong rally, short term wise, probably a bit sideways, I would say. Between like 42 to 49. Overall, I think the uptrend is still valid. Then moving into Nvidia, Nvidia, I think generally very much range bound. So there's a lot of like uh yeah, it's basically been range bound since July last year. So I think that will still continue for now. Then there's also like a lot of horizontal levels as well. Next one for Broadcom. Overall, the longer term is still an uptrend. Mid-term wise, I think mid range, yeah, a bit range lah. Haven't reached a downtrend yet, for now. So yeah, still pretty much range bound for Broadcom in the short term. And then for Chipotle Mexican Grill, I would say long term downtrend. Short term wise, some rebound, but could be like a bit range bound to come lah. I feel. Yeah. Okay, next question is on Novo Nordisk, United Health, and Semiconductor Industries. Yeah, I see a question. There's also on questions on other markets. Yeah, no worries. Just if you've got any questions on like Singapore, Hong Kong stocks, or whatever markets, can just feel free to drop them in the Q&A lah. Don't have to be, not necessarily needs to be US markets. Yeah. So I'll just share my views on whatever questions you have. So first one for Novo Nordisk. Okay, so I think price is kind of pulling back a bit after hitting this 62 resistance. So this was like a swing high and then previous support level. So some pullback in terms of short-term momentum, some slight weakening as price is below the 10 SMA. But I think currently should hold support at this horizontal level. This is around $58. So I think could be a bit more range bound for now after this strong rally. 58 to about 61, 62. Yeah, I think earnings coming out this week. So we see again how it goes. Next one, United Health. Yeah, big gap down. So for United Health, I think for now resistance likely to be above 290. From last week, you can see some resistance above like 295 about there. Higher end will be maybe 302 this swing low. In terms of support wise, I think it could still come down a bit lower to maybe try to fill out this gap at closer to 269, 270 over here. So it's like back to this area, back to like what happened in May to August again this last year. Some would refer to some of these key levels back then. Yeah, there's a gap over here that if price breaks the Tuesday low of like 280, then it might come back to like 270 or to fill out this gap in the short term for United Health. Next one is Semiconductor Industries. Yeah, so for Semcom, I feel that still nothing much going on. It's just still pretty much range bound. Yeah, so has been testing the resistance 613 over here. The resistance zone is 613 to 620 now, and has been tested multiple times. Okay, still range bound. Yeah, I feel that as long as doesn't try to break below like 590, then I think could be still maintaining this range bound movement. Yeah, above 620, I think the next key resistance, maybe some resistance could be around 630 over here. Yeah, so very much I think sideways movement for now for Sembcorp. Okay, hi Sharon. Good evening. Your questions is to support resistance for A-Lab, Microsoft, Palladium. Okay, first up is Astera Labs, A-Labs. Okay, in terms of support wise, I think for this one might have I think the pullback might still continue. Pullback and then did a consolidation and then some weakness again. In terms of support wise, I feel some support maybe at 135 around this level. First support. Next support level might be 124. Yeah, in terms of resistance, Short term wise, some resistance might come from 163 around here. Then next one is like 170, 171 about there. Yeah. And next one, Microsoft. Okay, so currently some support at 422, but below that, if we breach, I think will be the next support maybe at 407, 408. Okay, then followed by around 393, 394 about there. Then resistance for now, I think it's around 440. And above that, it's at 457, I feel. Then for Palantir, okay, Palantir, I think currently some is at the support like 140 of like 149. Okay, below that is like 142, this swing low, and then afterwards below that is like closer to 135 over there. In terms of short-term resistance for now would be maybe 157, then 162 as a short-term resistance. Yeah. Okay. Okay, next one. Should there's a question, should you do dollar cost averaging in gold and silver? What do I think? Okay, I think if you are looking at sort of longer term investment, I think like the big pullback that we are seeing right now, I think it's a good opportunity for dollar cost averaging. I think that's a good strategy if you have a more long term view. And yeah, overall the trend is still an uptrend. So I think it's okay to do that. But I think just manage your risk. Don't go all in at once and just buy in tranches lah. Like for example, if you can plan maybe 3 to 4 tranches. Yeah, if price, because you never know when's the exact bottom, right? It's just yeah, and I think that's a okay strategy if you are more of looking at a longer term view. I think price will still rebound after the sharp sell down. Next one. Okay, what's the current trend of IBIT or ETH? Yeah, so for IBIT, I think current trend is still downtrend. Downtrend, then price did a bear flag consolidation. I think for breakdown, we could still see the downtrend continue. Yeah, currently bear markets are back to this swing low support over here. Yeah, because I think Bitcoin is in the downtrend. Then for ETH, Ethereum also downtrend. Yeah, pullback. There's also like a sideways consolidation, but breakdown below that. Yeah, so I think it's still a downtrend for both of these two. Okay, next one is Las Vegas Sands and BITO. For Las Vegas Sands, I think after the earnings, I think there's a gap down. Then you can see some resistance at close to this 55 level over here. So we might still see some weakness, I feel. Short-term wise supports is like this 51 level, one support that you could test. Next one is like closer to 47, 40. Yeah. So short-term one, I think could be still quite weak. Resistance likely to be from the last week's highs, 50, 54, 55 about there. Then for BITO, yeah, this ProShares Bitcoin ETF, similar to IBIT just now. So I think still downtrend, breakdown of the bearish flag recently. Yeah, likely to test some of these previous levels, like about 1050 to 1120, this area. Uh, Okay, next one is Adobe, Grab, and CoreWeave. Okay, Adobe is still downtrend. Recent price action, last week looked like a support at this 288 is still holding. Okay, I think short-term resistance might be this like 297 and then 303. So short-term wise, if 288 holds, might still be a bit range bound. Yeah, but overall trend is still downtrend. Below 288, I think next support level is at 270. Look out for. Okay, next one, Grab, I think overall still big. Still trading in this downtrend channel. Yeah, so next support level, if it comes down to the channel support again, might be like 4.1 or 4. 4 will be like the psychological level, and also $4 was like a 4 to 410 lah. I think this area was like a very strong resistance in the past. So and then turn into support. So if it comes down to the level, I think would at least hold as a support. Yeah, then short term wise, I think uh resistance 4.5 to like 4.7 about there. And next one call with yeah, for call with I think for now we might overall the breakout of this range is still intact. Short term for now I think 91 is 88 to 91 is slightly still some support over here. Yeah. And resistance, but in terms of the bullish momentum wise, I think it's a bit weakening from the last weeks. So because of the breakdown below this, some of the levels like 10, like here like 103 breakdown, and then also here 98 also breakdown at 10 SMA. So short term wise might come down to test 87 to 91 this level. I think should be still be a support, but resistance wise, short term 98 to 102, I think will be a bit of resistance. So could be a bit sideways in the short term. Okay, hi Jane, your question is what's my view on BYD electronic? Is it a wholesale accumulate? Okay, so for BYD electronic, I would say currently it's a downtrend since like September. Longer term trend, I would say is a range because if you look zoom really out, it's a very wide range. Mostly since 39 and very strong supports closer to 25, 26 for there. So as of now, I think we might still see some bullishness. I feel it's a range bound consolidation, but uh, it's like the breakdown of this 37 is still holding as resistance, then price still forming lower high. Yeah, if price breaks below this 31 to 32 area, then might still come down a bit to 29 to test next level next. Yeah, so I think for now, yeah, in terms of buy, accumulate, or sell, I think it really depends on your entry price. But longer term wise, I would still feel it's a kind of a sideways movement. So if it's closer to 26, this very strong support level, then it's closer. Then I would think it's closer to a whole. I feel. Yeah. Next question, please do memory stocks. SanDisk, Seagate, Western Digital. Okay. Yeah. First one, let's take a look at SanDisk. After earnings, yeah, huge volume, then some signs of profit taking. Okay. Okay, so for now, I think for this, I think we might see some short term, some slight pullback, but overall uptrend is still intact. So for this, I think we might see another retest of the 5 SMA perhaps. Because price has been trailing along this 5 SMA. Then it went, there's really quite a huge deviation above that recently. So we might come back to do a bit of mean reversion. Support is like 510, previous resistance over here. Then yeah, I think some support might come from the 5 SMA for now. Yeah, then 10 SMA should do a bit of a job as well. So might see like some dip, then bounce, I feel, then maybe sideways afterwards. Yeah, I feel in the maybe in this week probably wouldn't I think probably might not make a higher high above the Friday's highs for now. It could be a bit sideways for the time being. Next one, Seagate. Yeah, for Seagate, I think it looks like a evening star pattern. So like the past 3 days, the candlestick pattern. After the earnings, so looks like some resistance form at 449, 450 about there. We might see some pullback through. So the short term support I think is like closer to 370 and 10 MA. I think that would be quite a good support for this week. Yeah, then some resistance like will be probably 430 to 450. So I think we might see some sideways movement. Also for this Western Digital, yeah, kind of similar to C8. Yeah. For this it tested the 10 SMA. For this, then some support 247. So this needs to hold around this level. Short-term resistance might be like maybe 260 to 270. If 240 breaks below that, I think then the next support level will be closer to 218 to 230 next. Yeah. So likely it will still be very volatile for all these memory names. Okay, next one is Capital Invest CLI. For CLI, I think uptrend is still intact. So for this, we can see that the key moving average support is still 304. This 10 SMA price has been holding along since the start of this year. Looks like a sideways consolidation right now. I think that's still okay. Uh, so probably 304 to 311 right now. So I think if price can hold the 10 SMA, should be still fine. If break out about 311, the next target may be at 320, I feel, based on the previous resistance. Yeah. What's the trend for Oracle and Microsoft? Oracle, I would say, is a downtrend since September. Yeah, overall price action is still very weak. Like now, I feel it's in this downwards channel. Then for Microsoft, I think is still overall is an uptrend, but very volatile. So uh, might just do a very rough gauge. Could be like a very big channel, I feel. Yeah, so might be I think for now the weakness could still continue if it comes back down. If it comes back down to maybe like close out this gap at 394, then it kind of it's quite close to this very strong uptrend channel support. So I think that will be a good support if it happens. For now, I think still some weakness for now. A bit of a downtrend in the short term. Okay, I'll do about two more questions since about close to 9:15. As first one, SMH, VanEck Semicon ETF. So for this, I think it tracks it's similar to the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index I showed earlier on. For this, I think still an uptrend, a bit of some slight weakness if it breaks below this 10 SMA, that's at 404. It's also a horizontal level over here. So this needs to hold for the very strong bullish momentum to continue. But if not, if it goes below that, I think we could see some slight pullback with the key support next closer to 390, the next horizontal support level. Yeah, but overall, the uptrend is still okay. In terms of weekly charts, as long as it maintains the 5 SMA, 10 SMA would be, I think, still fine. Then QQQ, next one, QQQ, let's see. Yeah, so this one is tracks the like Nasdaq. So yeah, at the start I kind of explained the Nasdaq. For this, I would say last week, not so good price action because consolidation and breakout of 628 kind of tested the, I would say like short-term double top at this 636 level, then but it came down very rather quickly at the end of the week. So for this, the key, I think I will pull out the longer term moving averages. So to look at the 50 as well as the 100 SMA, this is green and blue line. So price needs to really hold this area, which is like 611 to 617, then the overall uptrend is still maintaining now. So for now, still range consolidation, I feel. And this is the key supports to look at because price has been maintaining this level ever since the April rebound. Then yeah, short term wise, this area 628 and onwards, I think still some resistance. Yeah, so I will stop my sharing for today. I think there's still, yeah, it's about 9:17. I see there's still quite a lot of questions. Sorry, unable to answer all of them. But thanks for tuning in as well as putting in your questions. Yeah, just give me a moment. I will share some share some info in the chat. Yeah, so okay. So I'll drop the survey form link. So if you have any feedback about today, how you can improve your session or if you enjoyed today's sharing, I would appreciate if you fill in your feedback in the form. And also, if you are new or you haven't joined, feel free to join the Poem3 community at TA. If you haven't, you can feel free to ask questions over there by downloading this app using the link. And also, there's also a Telegram group at Poem3. I've dropped the link in the chat as well. So if you haven't joined, feel free to join. There's also a lot of TA stuff or posts. Yeah, so that's it for today's session. Thanks for tuning in as well as for all your questions. Yeah, I think there's quite a lot of there's some questions on gold and silver lah. So I think I will just whether you can go higher. So I think overall uptrend is still okay. But I think it will take a while for. I think we'll likely do some sideways. But I don't think we'll have a new high that fast given the sharp rise and sharp fall. So right now it's probably it needs to do a bit of stabilization first. But overall, I think it's still in the uptrend mode. Then if you buy, you might need to hold out for a while. I think after the recent price movement, probably the market needs to stabilize a bit first. Yeah. But overall, the uptrend I think is still intact. Yeah, so that's my views on it. So that's all for today's session. Thanks for all your questions. Yeah, still got a lot of important earnings coming out this week, and also the non-farm payrolls on Friday. So just to keep a lookout lah, and hope to see you again in the next session, which is next week. Take care and hope to see you again. Bye bye.